Beneath the Boughs. In the small, isolated town of Eldridge Hollow, nestled deep within the woods of Vermont, the air held a stillness that seemed almost unnatural. The townspeople whispered about the legends woven into the fabric of their community, tales of ancient spirits and mythological creatures said to dwell in the shadows of the gnarled trees. Of these stories, the most feared was that of the Wendigo, a monstrous entity born of insatiable greed and cannibalistic hunger, a creature capable of driving people mad with its hunger for flesh. As the first frost of autumn settled upon the town, marking the end of the harvest season, a palpable change swept through Eldridge Hollow. The leaves turned from vibrant amber to a brittle brown, crunching beneath the boots of those who dared to step out after dark. It began with the whispers, rumors that a figure lurked just beyond the tree line, with hollow eyes that glowed in the moonlight and an unquenchable thirst for human flesh. Amelia, a bright and curious teenager, often found solace in the woods that surrounded her home. She had grown up on the stories of the Wendigo, tales spun by her grandmother on long winter nights. While the other children shivered in fear at the thought, Amelia felt a strange pull to the legend, as if the woods were calling her name. Ignoring the warnings of the townsfolk, she set out one fateful night to uncover the truth. The moon hung high in the sky, casting silvery beams that danced between the blackened branches. The air was crisp, and the intoxicating scent of pine surrounded her. As she wandered deeper into the forest, she felt a sense of exhilaration. It was then that she stumbled upon the remnants of an old campfire, a place where others might have sought refuge. A chill swept through the air, causing her to shiver uncontrollably. Glancing around, she saw nothing, but a deep sense of unease settled in her stomach. Ignoring her instinct to turn back, she pressed on, driven by a mix of curiosity and defiance. But the deeper she ventured, the more the forest enveloped her in darkness. A low growl echoed in the distance, freezing her in place. It was unlike anything she had ever heard, half wolf, half human, resonating with an ancient hunger. The breath caught in her throat as she turned, searching the shadows, when she finally saw it. A figure shrouded in darkness, its skin stretched taut over protruding bones. The Wendigo was real, a gaunt creature with elongated limbs and razor-like claws, its eyes reflecting an insatiable hunger. Amelia's heart raced as it sniffed the air, drawn to her scent like a moth to a flame. Panic surged through her veins as she fled, the sounds of snapping branches and guttural growls echoing in her wake. She could hear its breath behind her, hot and rancid, as it closed the distance. The stories hadn't prepared her for this terror. She stumbled over fallen branches, her feet entangled in brambles, but the creature was relentless, its hunger driving it closer with each desperate stride. In a final burst of adrenaline, she reached the edge of a cliff, overlooking a vast pit that seemed to swallow the very light around her. Behind her, the Wendigo halted, its eyes fixated on Amelia, its ghastly teeth glistening with drool. It was as if time slowed, and for a moment, she felt its dreadful hunger wrap around her like a suffocating shroud. Then, a flash of memory struck her, a story of a way to break the curse of the Wendigo. Legend spoke of a heart untainted by malice. If one could show the beast compassion, it might just relent. Summoning every ounce of courage she could muster, Amelia turned to face the creature. Instead of running, she stood tall, staring directly into its eyes. "I won't let you take me. I know of your suffering," she called out, her voice steady despite the terror coursing through her. "You were once human, lost in darkness. I can help you find peace." Quote, the Wendigo paused, its growls subsiding to a low whimper. For a moment, the forest was silent. She saw a flicker of something within its hollow gaze, a glimmer of the humanity it had lost. Slowly, it took a step back, as if her words had woven a barrier between them. As the moon broke through a veil of clouds, bathing the forest in light, the Wendigo let out a mournful cry, reverberating through the woods. It was no longer a beast. It was a man tormented by a hunger that reeked of loneliness and despair. Amelia took a tentative step forward, and the creature followed, its claws retracting as sorrow flooded its features. Together, they stood at the edge of the cliff, a mythical beast and a frightened girl, united by understanding. The Wendigo turned and retreated into the depths of the forest, leaving Amelia trembling and breathless but alive, untouched by its horrific hunger. Though the legend would linger in the shadowed forests of Eldridge Hollow, a new tale began, one of compassion and the possibility of redemption. And wanderers who ventured into the woods would sometimes hear the soft call of the Wendigo on the wind, not a growl, but a whisper of thanks, a reminder that even the darkest of myths could be transformed by the light of understanding.